Hey guys, I'm sorry for all the mix-up yesterday with this lesson. When I saw the video, I just assumed that everything matched up and that the backside matched up and everything lined up. I did look through it, and then I did not see that there was some stuff missing that's technically on your guys' stuff. So, just like yesterday when he was going over this, you were given the data set. So normally we would talk about this and you guys would record all the data, but you should have had the data 5, 4, 6, 5, 3, 6, 8, and then 3. Okay, so then to be able to obviously identify the smallest value, that would be 3. The largest value would be 8. Please make sure that you have these if you did it yesterday by yourself. And then the difference is the actual, technically it's called the range. So 8 minus 3 would be 5. Just to reiterate this is the range. And so your range would be equal to your max minus your min. Okay, and then this is where I think it kind of changed a little bit. Yours says list the values below in order from least to greatest, which you should have done. And maybe he did it on his video, so it would be 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, and then 8. Okay, find the median of the data. Draw a vertical line in the data that sets to mark the median. Okay, so normally we just cross them off. So 1, 2 on this end, 1, 2 on this end, 1, 1. So it actually splits this right in half right here. Okay, this would be the median. Okay, so if you add them together, so to find the median, you would add them together. So 5 plus 5, and find the average divided by 2, and you find your median is 5. Okay. This is where it didn't have on yesterday's notes. It says it wants you to find the median of each half. Okay, so this is what you're finding: the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. These are called quartiles. And I don't believe it explained it in the video yesterday. So if you find the median of the lower half, so I cross one off, it falls right here. Okay, that's the median of the lower half. To actually find that, this is actually Q1. It's median of the lower half. It's also called the quartile 1. So you would take these two values where it splits and find the average of that. So 3 plus 4, and then divide that by 2. So 3 plus 4 is 7, divided by 2 is 3.5. So the median of the lower half, or the lower quartile, or Q1, is 3.5. Okay, the median of the upper half, you're going to do the exact same thing. So cross off. It ends up being between these two. So right here is where the median would fall. So to find the median, this is Q3, okay? The median, the middle one, this is also known as Q2. So it goes Q1, Q2, Q3. So you would add these two together, 6 plus 6, divide by 2, that'd be 12 divided by 2. So the median of the upper half, or Q3, would be 6. Okay? Now, if you're taking the difference of these, that's what this is wanting you to do. You're taking 6 minus 3.5. That's to find the difference, which would be 2.5. Okay, this is known as the IQR. So IQR, which is inner quartile range. So you take the formula for it is the Q3. So Q3 minus Q1. But to be able to find Q3 and Q1, you have to find Q2 and then use that data appropriately. So IQR, interquartile range. So Q3 minus Q1. Okay, I believe the video did a fairly good job of doing this, but I did have some people email me saying they weren't quite sure what it meant by standard deviation. Okay, we aren't going to find standard deviation by hand very often because it is so tedious. The actual math behind it is difficult. So you should have had this filled out according to the video from yesterday, but I will just kind of go over it a little bit. This right here is your X sub I, which are your data sets. So if you look at your data sets, these are your data sets. So your first value is 5. Your next one is 4. You have 6, 5, 5, 3. Oops, it doesn't want to move down. Ooh, no. Ah. Let's see if I can get it to move down. Nope. Or if I do that. There we go. We actually got it to move down now. 3, 6, 8, and then 3 again. Okay, so basically with the standard deviation, it's going to take each one of these values and figure out how much it deviates from the mean. So you then have to take these values and you're going to take the value X sub I and subtract X bar, which is your mean. So to be able to do this, you have to find X bar. So you have two different ways of finding X bar. You add all of these up and then divide by the number of numbers you had. So if you do that, your X bar should be, let me grab a calculator real quick. Okay, so you are going to find the average of this. So you should have 5, I can do this, I can't do this without 5, plus 4, plus 6, plus 5, plus 3, plus 6, plus 8, plus 3. So your summation total should be 40, and then you're going to divide that by the number of numbers you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. Divide by 8. And that should be your mean. You should be able to record that. So you should have 40 divided by 5. So your mean is 8. No, I did that backwards. It would be 40 divided by 8 equals 5. So your mean is 5. So when you're doing that, you're now using this mean. You're taking your data set, which is 5, minus your mean, which is 5. So this one equals 0. Okay. This one, you would take your data set, 4 minus 5, and get -1. Okay. And then here you would take 6 minus 5 to get 1. And then you would take 5 minus 5 to get 0. And then you take 3 minus 5 to get -2. And then you would take 6 minus 5 to get 1. And then 8 minus 5 to get 3. And then 3 minus 5 to get -2. Okay, so what you're doing right here is just actually kind of figuring out from that mean how far away is these data sets. Okay, so this is a distance of 0. Well, this one's technically -1. However, distance can't be negative, so that's why we square it. So here, you would take this nice little notation, X sub I minus your X bar, which is what you just did, and we're going to square those values. What does that mean? You're going to take 0, square it to get 0, -1, squared it to get 1. These are changing these now into positives, which is what needs to occur because when you take the average of them, if you don't have them as positives, your distance would end up being 0, so they cancel each other out. So you have to square them. -2 squared would be 4, and 1 squared would be 1, and then 3 squared would be 9, and then negative 2 squared would be 4. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to add these down. So this is called the summation. That's part of the actual formula. So 0, 1, that's 2, 6, 7, 7, 16 plus 4 would be 20. So your summation, which is the summation of x sub I minus the mean, because that's what x bar is, squared, is equal to this 20 here. Okay? Now, when you're finding the average, you divide it by how many numbers you have. So that's why you take the 20 and divide it by the 8 to get 2.5. Okay? Now, this is actually taking your summation and dividing it by n. It's finding the average of the distance from the mean. Okay? So, once you get to that point, you take this value and you have to take the square root of it. That's part of the formula. So you got to square root it. Okay, and again, you're not going to have to do this by hand very often. So the standard deviation is 1.58. Now, in his video yesterday, he plugged this value in for number 5 and showed that there is a difference. There is a difference, okay? Because the standard deviation, we normally don't divide by n. This is when you are finding the population, the standard deviation of the population, and not the sample. So this is an actual sample set because it's a smaller set. It's not the actual whole data set. So you could actually collect a lot more data. This is just a sample. But to go back here, and I'm going to have to make 2 videos just so you guys know, this is called the standard deviation, and this is how much it typically deviates from the mean. So this is the typical distance from the mean. And that's for each data set. So we just kind of took the average of all of them, figured out how far they are from the mean, and you can say that it is the typical standard deviation for the number of colleges chosen is 1.58 from the mean of 5. So it can either be 1.58 above or 1.58 below. So that's the typical deviation. Okay. Let me plug these into sample it, and then I will show you why there is a difference. And I kind of already explained it, but I just want you guys to see. So let me do that. I'm going to pause this video real quick and then type it in, and then I'll be back. Okay, so you can look here and say that I typed in the numbers, and here is the actual values. And then if you look here, the standard deviation that appears is 1.69. And what he was trying to explain in the video that is there is a difference because in a sample standard deviation, we divide by n minus 1, which is what this number right here is. We're dividing by n minus 1. And then in a population sample, we just divide by n. So all of the ones that we're going to be doing are samples. So we're going to be dividing by n minus 1. So let me go and actually give you the full formula for standard deviation. Okay, so I wrote down, here is the actual one that we will be using. So SX means standard deviation for a sample, and it is the summation of each data value minus the mean. We're going to square them. That's the whole process we did up here. And then you're going to divide by n minus 1 first. So like this would be divided by 7 instead of the 8 that we divided by. And then you would take the square root of that value. That's why we're getting these numbers. So the whole process is just adding, subtracting, squaring, dividing, and then the square root. It looks way harder than it is. But like I said, we're not going to do a lot of it by hand. We're going to be using the graphing calculator.